daughters of the sun. The night the twins were born, the rain stopped suddenly, as if the sky itself wanted to watch. Inside the small mud house at the edge of Umweze village, Ifunanye screamed one final time. Then, a cry, another cry, two voices. The midwife smiled at first. Twins, she announced proudly. But when she lifted the first baby toward the lantern light, her smile faded. And when she lifted the second, the room went quiet. Both babies were girls, and both were pale. Not the soft brown of their mother, not the deep tone of their father. Their skin was milky white, their hair almost silver, their lashes light like sunlight. Albino. The midwife swallowed hard. Outside, women were already celebrating. Is it boys or girls? Someone shouted. The midwife stepped outside slowly. They are girls, she said. Cheers rose. And they are different. The cheering stopped. By morning, the entire village knew. 2 albino girls. Twins. A sign. But what kind of sign? Some said they were blessed by the gods. Others said they were warnings from the ancestors. Old Mama Ibere shook her head slowly. I have lived 70 years. I have never seen this. Fear grows easily where knowledge is small. Their father, Chinadu, stood tall despite the whispers. They are my daughters, he said firmly, and they are beautiful. He named them that same day. Amaris, given by God. Zina, shining light. He refused to hide them, refused to act ashamed. But not everyone in Umweze was kind. As the girls grew, the staring grew. Children would stop playing when they passed. Some would whisper, "Don't touch them. My mother said they bring strange luck. They glow at night." They did not glow. They were just girls. Girls who loved to laugh. Girls who held hands wherever they went. Girls who felt the sun burn their skin faster than others. Their mother rubbed shea butter on them every morning, wrapped scarves around their heads, kept them in the shade when the heat was harsh. But she could not protect them from words, and words can wound deeply. When they turned 13, something changed. They had grown into striking beauty. Their pale skin shone against colorful wrappers. Their eyes were sharp and clear, their posture confident. They did not walk like girls who were ashamed. They walked like queens. That angered some people. One afternoon at the market, a woman muttered loudly, "They should be grateful we allow them to stay." Zina heard. She stopped walking, turned, and looked straight at the woman. "Allow?" she asked calmly. "Did you create us?" The market froze. Amara squeezed her sister's hand gently. They did not bow. They did not shrink. They walked away, together. But that same evening, an elder visited their father. "There are rumors," he said quietly. "Rumors of what?" "That certain men from outside the village are asking about them." Chinadu's chest tightened. "In what way?" The elder hesitated. "Some said albinos carry spiritual power." Silence fell heavy in the room, the kind of silence that feels like danger. That night, for the first time, their father locked the door twice, because sometimes beauty attracts admiration, and sometimes it attracts something darker. When they clocked 15, one hot afternoon, the village square was quiet, except for the sound of grinding stones and distant goats. A young man named Ugo sat under the Iroko tree, head down, elbows on his knees. He had just failed his apprenticeship in the city and been sent back home in shame. People were already whispering, "He is lazy. He wasted his chance. He disappointed his family." Ugo had stopped eating properly, stopped greeting people, stopped believing in himself. Amaris and Zina were returning from the stream when they saw him. They stopped together once and looked at each other. They just understood, as they always did. They stood a few steps away, and they began to sing, softly at first. No drums, no clapping, just harmony. Their voices blended like warm sunlight after rain. Even the river bends, but it still reaches the ocean. Even the tree that breaks can grow again from its root. Ugo lifted his head slowly. The grinding stones stopped. Women paused mid-conversation. The air shifted. "You are not your failure. You are not the laughter of men. Stand again, son of the soil. Your story is not finished." Tears rolled down Ugo's face, not because he was weak, but because something inside him broke open. Something heavy left his chest. By the time they finished, he was standing tall, breathing differently, seeing things differently. And for the first time in weeks, he believed again. That was when the village began to notice. It was not just beautiful singing. It was something else. Their songs matched the heart of the listener. If someone was suffering, the song became comfort. If someone was confused, the song became clarity. If someone was doing wrong, the song became truth. And truth is uncomfortable. The second time it happened, it caused trouble. A trader named Mama Nkechi was known for cheating people quietly. Small measures, hidden tricks, sweet smile. That market day, Amaris and Zina sang again. The hand that steals in darkness will one day shake in daylight. The mouth that smiles with lies will taste its own bitterness. Mama Nkechi froze. Her smile disappeared. Her hands trembled. The measuring cup dropped from her fingers. Before everyone, she started shouting, "You think I have been cheating people? Please leave my shop. I don't want to sell again." The girls turned to leave, and the customers started leaving too. "Forgive me," she cried. The market exploded in whispers. People looked at the twins differently now. Not just beautiful, not just strange, powerful. But the twins never forced anything. They did not point fingers. They did not accuse. They simply sang. And somehow, hearts answered. Soon, people began seeking them. A widow who could not sleep. A young girl afraid of marriage. A man angry at his brother. A boy tempted to join bad friends. The twins would sit quietly, listen, then sing for you if they were moved to sing. Their voices would wrap around pain like soft cloth, and people would leave lighter, clearer, changed. But not everyone liked this, because when truth walks freely, secrets feel threatened. And there was one man in Umueze who had many secrets. Chief Okafor, a wealthy, respected man who believed he was untouchable, until the day the twins sang at the harvest festival, and their song turned toward him. Without calling his name, without pointing a finger, but everyone understood, and his face changed. That was the day admiration turned into fear, and fear can become dangerous. Everything returned to normal until one evening. The twins were already 16. The sun was setting gently behind the palm trees. Their mother was inside, grinding pepper. Their father had not returned from the farm. Amaris sat outside, humming softly. Zina joined her. At first, it was just a normal tune, soft, sweet, like any other village song. But then, something shifted. Their voices blended in a way that did not sound ordinary. It was not loud. It was not dramatic. It was deep, like water flowing under stone. The air felt still. Even the chickens stopped scratching the ground. Their song was simple, about peace, about truth, about light finding dark places. Old Mama Abari, who had been walking past their compound, suddenly stopped. Her walking stick fell from her hand. Tears filled her eyes. "I remember my husband," she whispered. He had died 20 years ago. She had not cried properly since then, but now she was crying like a young bride again. The song had touched something buried inside her. A week later, a trader named Okoro from the neighboring village came to the village square. He was known for cheating people, adjusting weights, lying about prices, smiling while stealing. That evening, the twins stood side by side in white dresses, glowing softly in the lantern light. When Okoro offered to tell his own story before Mama Ifa arrived, the girls stood up together. The crowd grew quiet instantly. Their voices rose gently, not accusing, not loud, just honest. The song spoke about hidden things, about hearts that smile but hide darkness, about hands that take what does not belong to them. As the words floated into the night air, Okoro shifted uncomfortably. Sweat gathered on his forehead. He tried to laugh it off, but his breathing changed. His hands trembled, and before the song ended, he shouted, "Fine, I took it. I reduced the weights. I cheated." The crowd gasped. No one had accused him. No one had mentioned his name, but the song had reached him, like light entering a closed room, exposing what was hidden. The village froze. People stared at the twins, not with fear, but with respect, and a little awe. The elders called a meeting the next day. "This is not ordinary talent," one said. "It is a gift," another whispered. But the oldest elder spoke carefully. Every gift attracts attention, good and bad, and his eyes were serious. Soon, people from nearby villages began visiting. Some came for comfort, some came to test the rumor, some came with secrets in their hearts, and every time the twins sang, those with clean hearts felt peace, those with guilt felt exposed. It was not magic, it was truth, carried on melody. But power, no matter how small, creates enemies. One night, Zina sat quietly after a performance. "I can feel it," she said softly. "Feel what?" Amaris asked. "Someone does not like what we are doing." Amaris nodded. "I feel it too. Somewhere in Umue's village, a man with influence, a man with secrets. Chief Okafor was listening, and he did not like how his heart reacted when the twins sang, because when they sang near him, he could not breathe properly, and for a man who built his power on hidden things, that was dangerous. The twins did not sing often. In fact, weeks could pass without a single note from them. People would beg, "Please sing for my sick mother, sing for my shop opening, sing at the festival." They would smile politely and shake their heads, because they did not control the gift. The gift controlled them instead. One evening, the air felt wrong, too still. Amaris dropped the pestle slowly. Zina stepped back from the cooking fire. They did not speak. Without telling anyone, they stepped out of the house, barefoot. The sky was dark, but not cloudy. The moon was thin, like a blade. They stood in the middle of their compound, closed their eyes, and breathed in. Then they began, soft at first, almost like a whisper carried by wind. The song of shielding light that walks before us. Stand where our feet will stand. Wind that hears the hidden, carry truth through this land.
Let them rise in vain.
Hands that rise against us, let them rise in vain.
Let them wrestle with their
Hearts
shame.
that plan in
We are
darkness,
not the
let them
fire,
wrestle
but
with
we
their
carry
shame.
its glow.
We are not the
We
fire,
are not the
but we carry
thunder.
its glow.
Where
We are
harm
not
is
the
whispered
thunder,
softly,
but the sky
let
will know.
walls rise
Where harm is
unseen.
whispered
Where danger
softly,
steps in shadow,
let walls
let
rise
it lose its
unseen.
meaning.
Where danger
No
steps
blade
in
shall
shadow,
find its purpose.
let it
No
lose
plot
its
shall
meaning.
find its way.
No blade shall
Hearts
find
that
its
plan
purpose.
in
No
darkness,
plot shall find
let
its
them
way.
wrestle
For
with
light
their
has marked our
shame.
doorway, and night
For
cannot
light
stay.
has marked
Their
our
voices blended
doorway,
perfectly, not
and
loud,
night
but strong.
cannot
The ground
stay.
itself felt steady beneath them. Across the village, people paused. Some dropped their cups. Some looked toward the direction of the sound. Even those who tried to ignore it felt it settle over their skin like cool rain. Far away, on the road leading into the village, two men walking quietly stopped. They had been sent to abduct the twins, but as the song reached them, one of them slowed down. "You feel that?" he muttered. The other swallowed. "It's just singing," but his chest felt tight. Their feet suddenly felt heavy, as if the road no longer welcomed them. One man shook his head. "I don't like this." Without another word, they turned back, neither of them fully understanding why. Inside his large house, Chief Okafor stood up abruptly. His chest felt uneasy, like someone had called his name without speaking it. He walked to his window. The song reached him faintly, not clear, but present. His jaw tightened. "They think they are untouchable," he muttered, but for the first time, he was not fully confident. Back in the compound, the twins' final note lingered in the night air, then faded. Silence returned, but it was a different silence. Peaceful. Amaris opened her eyes slowly. "It's done." Zina nodded. Their father stepped outside cautiously. He had heard it too, not the words fully, but the strength. "What was that?" he asked softly. Amaris smiled gently. "Just a reminder." "To who?" he asked. Zina looked toward the dark road beyond their house, to anyone who needed it. From that night forward, the village understood something clearly. The twins were not entertainment. They were not weapons. They were not curses. They were not tools. They were protected, and somehow they protected others too. But protection does not end war. It only delays it, because when darkness fails quietly, it sometimes returns louder. Months passed. The twins turned 17. The village grew used to their quiet power. People no longer feared them. They respected them. Even Chief Okafor smiled when he saw them in public, but his smile never reached his eyes.